First of all, that kid, okay, who gets taken out in the first movie was a dumbass, okay? Okay, I know he is young, he's very little. He literally picks up a toy which makes noise. Noise like this. At every few minutes, the cat is like, okay, bye.
I'll be my
I
own
am
queen.
out.
I'm going
Okay.
out. I'm climbing upstairs. You
Absolutely.
deal with your shit. Hello, everyone. My name is Deblina Ray.
My name is Abhishek Singh.
Welcome back to a very fresh episode of Weekends with Us. I think this weekend is actually fabulous. India has already won the T20 World Cup, and we have good movies in lined up for this weekend actually, and we have also watched them. So we are very excited about the upcoming two episodes. Definitely, one is definitely sure. I'm sure that we are going to be speaking about Kalki. I think the lesser popular.
In India.
In India, we would say is A Quiet Place, day
Right.
one. But we have watched it, and today we are going to be discussing, do we like it? Should you be watching it? Or should you just let those empty theaters remain empty?
You mean the theaters were quiet? Anyway, sorry.
Okay, so if you haven't really watched the previous two movies, this is a prequel to that. You should definitely be watching it. That is number one. And if we have to like set the premise of the movie, this is majorly in a nutshell. It is about that time in the world where we are attacked by aliens. Their sudden arrival is not really known, but they are there, and the only way to survive is maintaining silence.
Yeah.
So you have to be absolutely silent. Pin drop silence is what you need to maintain.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they were, this concept back in the day was quite unique. At least we did not see it that often. You would have these kind of sections in video games at times when you are playing in a video game and you have to be absolutely pin drop quiet. So you don't, engage with the enemies. But here in a movie format, the way they showed the atmosphere, that was, I believe, one of the very unique takes on this genre. And back in the movie they showed certain glimpses, certain sketches that these aliens came from asteroids, and like the starting of it, here we see it like actually happening, like how was the day one, hence the name A Quiet Place, day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of suspenseful horror, you like to be on
Mhm.
at the edge of your seat, and you like some, like, there has to be a certain pace to it, then this is a definite must watch for you. And although this is a prequel, and the previous two movies are absolutely brilliant, this movie also does not really disappoint. And we would recommend, it is a must watch in the theaters. We watched it in the IMAX.
Yeah.
So the sound, the music, the direction, the art, cinematography, everything added onto the suspense, and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. So the previous two movies were actually where the characters were played by John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, right? I mean, they're also real life couple, right? So I think they did a great job in the past two movies.
This movie is also, I mean, the story is also written by John Krasinski, and I think the story writing over there and this is equally nail biting.
Yeah.
What I definitely missed here was
Mhm.
Emily Blunt,
Yeah.
because she was fabulous in the first two movies. And the story writing also was something that kept us hooked and engaged.
Right.
That is the only thing that we would feel like, we
Mhm.
should be pointing it out,
Yeah.
or probably was a gray area. Because in the previous movie, I mean, okay, so the crux is you have to be silent. And in this entire plot, now in the previous movie, since Emily Blunt had a kid,
Yes.
there was a
She
newborn
was
child.
pregnant, huh?
There was an absolutely newborn child.
Right.
And oh no, she was pregnant
In
in
the
the
first
first.
movie.
Then she has a newborn child in
Yes.
the second, and then there was a very young child,
Right.
and it is shown that the child gets taken away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were actually involved because the probability of a noise being made by either of the characters, because of the stage of the life that they are in, and also because of how a younger child is very difficult to be tamed.
Absolutely.
Also, right? Like you can't really leash the child, even although I mean, she wouldn't really be knowing what is the situation in the
Right.
world currently.
Right.
So I think the stakes were really high, and that got us hooked a lot.
First of all, that kid, okay, who gets taken out in the first movie was a dumbass. Okay, okay, I know he is young, he's very little. He literally picks up a toy which makes noise, and he's like this in the air.
A
It
kid
was,
wouldn't know. I mean, it's a
I
kid.
know, I know. It was just little too much. It's like the parents are like, "Oh, keep quiet, don't make a noise." He goes to the loudest possible toy in the vicinity, picks it up, okay, and gets attacked by the monster. So it basically made sure to let us know as an audience that nobody's safe. Because till now, whatever movies we were seeing, the kid was like bulletproof. कुछ भी हो जाए, nothing will happen to that kid, any kid in any movie. And this is the first time I was like, oh damn, okay, I guess they are not kidding with this monster.
Yeah. Especially if it is the youngest child, then that
Right.
person is definitely bulletproof.
Yeah.
If it is the eldest child, probably that person is anyway just going
Right.
to get sacrificed. But that is something that we do not see, and it was very unusual.
Yeah.
And because it happens in the first few minutes only, we were all the more shocked.
Absolutely. So for the first movie, really nailed it in the beginning itself. Like, how crazy is this monster? And they set up these rules about why they're walking bare feet on sand. Why they're not making noise. They have this sign language that they're communicating with each other. Very interesting to see as a first movie. And then this whole dynamic of a family where Emily Blunt is giving birth to a newborn baby, that carries forward in the second movie because spoiler alert, John Krasinski's character dies in the first movie. So in the second movie it carries forward, talks about their tale, about how they kind of now take whatever way they've found to fight the monsters and do it on a bigger scale in the second movie. So that was kind of wrapped up neatly. Two movies were wrapped up, and now this is a prequel where the main characters are Lupita Nyong and Joseph Quinn. I hope I'm not butchering their names, but yeah, these are like two actors who are playing the new characters this time.
I think now that you're speaking about it, right, it suddenly hit me that in the previous movies, it's the way that they're adapting it to it. They're getting to know that probably this, I mean, we have to be really silent to
Right.
survive.
Yeah.
Because this is a prequel movie, I think it would have been better if they established a little bit more that why do they feel that they need to be quiet at the first place. I don't think so that was
I think
established.
it's like it gets really quickly to the characters. Everybody knows, like somehow everybody knows that we don't have to make noise.
I think that is a
Yeah.
missing point for me individually,
Yeah,
at least, because if it is a prequel, right, and if it is day one of the aliens attacking
Yeah.
them, then there is no way you would know like what is the rule book or what is the secret sauce to like success
Right.
or like
Absolutely.
survival.
You're absolutely right.
I think
That is what
and-
happens, when movies make sequels or video games make sequels. So what happens is whatever happens in the first movie takes so much time to get the audience adapted. Okay, so this is the rule. Okay, maybe when water is there's a noise of water, you can't hear,
Yeah.
they can't hear you, and it takes an entire movie to explain on it. But when you make a prequel or a different movie, it's like you have to like, hi, audience knows these things, right? Let's get this over with. So it's jarring to see a character make sense of all of it within 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
because it is a prequel. Had it been a sequel,
Yes.
then it made sense any which ways, and there
Right.
was no point in repeating it. Probably it could have been shown that how they are trying to do permutation combination,
Yes.
and they're trying to find out, does it understand my breath or my voice, or like
Yeah.
what is it actually trying to
Is it a scent, for example?
send? Anything could have been, right?
Infrared?
That permutation combination could have
Right.
been shown
Absolutely.
in some shape and format.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't shown at all, right? And yeah,
I think the plot itself. So here the character, the protagonist plays the role of a terminally ill cancer patient.
Yeah.
So all the more we know that this is the person's character. I mean, the person is any which way is going to die. So again,
Yeah.
vis-a-vis the present, I mean the previous ones, there is nothing that is making us hooked. If the person is any which way is going to die, and because each one of us like survival stories, we want them to survive. We want them. We want the stakes to be high. The
Yes.
higher risk, the higher reward kind of a concept, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was something that
Yeah.
during the course of the movie we felt, where is it going if the person
Exactly.
is any which way is not going to survive. But towards the end it did make sense, where the person is
Yeah.
actually
I mean, like
Yeah.
then there is another character which is introduced, which is of Joseph Quinn, that is also brought into the mix, and they become close, while this movie goes on. And also, if you are thinking, okay, so in the previous movies, kids were the ones who were creating chaos. So who is the one here? Okay, there's a cat. There's a cat who is like doing all the dumb shit during the movie. Okay, I'm saying dumb shit, not. I mean, the cat is doing cat things. Okay, at every few minutes, the cat is like, okay, bye.
I'll be my own
I am
queen.
out.
I'm going
Okay.
out. I'm climbing upstairs. You
Absolutely.
deal with your shit.
Exactly. Every few minutes, whenever they are in any kind of bad situation, the cat is like, okay, I'll see you. Bye.
So
Yeah.
another thing here.
Right.
In the previous movies,
Yeah.
there was a child, okay,
Yeah.
and who will be crying.
Right.
They will be wailing,
Hmm.
and the noise is created.
Hmm.
The alien gets triggered.
Yes.
Here, despite having a cat and it being just randomly everywhere, anywhere,
Yeah.
all at once,
Right.
it just does not meow.
Not at all. Very intelligent cat.
Very intelligent cat, but again, the stakes became lesser
Lesser.
here.
Exactly. Only in the beginning, it does make some sounds, like it goes around the room, creates some noise.
But it is all on
Only
the
for-
pause.
huh,
It is
exactly.
not.
Like, yeah, not meowing
You're
at
not
all.
meowing at all.
Yeah, exactly. So that was that is true. But yeah, so I mean, like that cat is one of the other characters on its own, right? So that was there. Yeah.
I think such genre of movies need to have a tight narrative, uh,
Yeah.
crisp storytelling, and they definitely excel in that. And you always love watching such genre of movies. See, I love watching such
Yeah.
genre of movies.
Right.
Suspenseful horror,
Yeah.
thriller, mix both of them, minus one of them. As long as there is no comedy as such, and there is like you are unsure and you're uncertain of the immediate next step.
Right.
I think I love those movies,
Absolutely.
and this movie actually nails
Yes.
that piece very well. I mean, I have grown watching Grudge,
Yeah.
Ring,
Right.
and also these Emily Rose, Exorcism, and all.
Right.
I think there are these kind of movies, except Grudge and all that.
Mhm.
These Exorcism and all, people end up again hilariously laughing also
Yeah.
at the theaters.
It's idiotic, honestly.
But I think this is one such movie where there was pin drop silence
Absolutely.
even in the theaters.
Yeah.
Of course, there were lesser people, and we were watching in theaters in IMAX, so the number of Chapri gang was also very less.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think it kept hooked onto a seat, and
Yeah.
we thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, absolutely. I think like even the Evil Dead, the last movie when we saw, like one of the reboots or sequels, prequels, something like that, we saw that, and again, less people were there, but they were like laughing all the time. They were ruining the movie for us, like people like us who are genuinely there to enjoy the atmosphere, and that was not a bad movie, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, here at least people were like, okay, I'm going to respect the movie, the silence, everything. Now the sound design, again, just bringing it back again, it's very great, because whenever there is any sound, what they do is they drown the certain other sounds and they amplify some of them, like the wheelchair, the dragging of a suitcase,
trolley,
for
yeah.
example. There could be a briefcase who is stuck somewhere and creaking in under pressure. A lot of those sounds are like amplified, and that effect you'll get in IMAX. You're not going to watch it in OTT and experiencing the same thing. So you'll watch it in OTT, you're like, yeah, it's kind of fine movie. You have to go to IMAX to enjoy it. That is number one. Now there are certain just few plot holes which I think are there even in the first movie. I'm not talking about this movie itself. One is that why do monsters don't attack each other? Like they are always making noise all the time. So how do it like ये मेरा भाई है, ये noise कर रहा तो ठीक है. But then when other animals or humans are making noise, so I'll attack them. That is one thing I found problematic since the first movie. Right?
But
How will they know? I mean, it's not explained. Maybe they
Ah.
can telepathically communicate that okay, there is a similar creature next to my own, so they don't attack each other. But it's not explained well. That how do they dissociate?
Actually, that's a fair point. Like
Right.
if sound is the
Yeah.
only differentiating
Yes,
factor,
right?
then how do you differentiate whether it's your brother
Exactly.
from another mother
Exactly.
or whether it is
Yeah.
human from another mother?
So maybe
Okay.
maybe you can let us know if it was explained in any movie. I don't think it was. That how do they dissociate the sound between themselves, like when they're
खुद
making
को
it.
थोड़ी मार काट के
Yeah.
खाएंगे, कुछ भी बोलते हैं ये ऐसे ना क्रिटिक्स बनते हैं जो कोट निकालते हैं इनको.
मतलब, yeah, it's a genuine thing, right? The second is like during the three movies, at some point or the other, they figure out that whenever there is a waterfall, fountain, they can't attack you.
Correct.
Live there, no? Why?
Live there, exactly. At least in this movie also,
Yeah.
the girl just keeps on changing places.
Yeah.
And you see the boat which has the survivors are
right.
the ones जहाँ पे
Yeah.
वो सबसे पहले लोग थे.
Yes, yes, yes,
वो
right.
वहीं से लोग वहाँ पे बोट तक पहुँच गए और
पहुँच
ये
गए.
मैडम फुदक फुदक के गई और
Yeah.
कहीं पे भी पहुँच नहीं पाई.
Yeah, तो ठीक है, मतलब for her character there was some other motivation. I get it, but point is like the other previous two movies also. Like I'm like, if you know that waterfalls protect you, go and live there, build a hut right in the middle of whichever water body you find. So there's like just few nitpicks I have about the plot. That's all.
Yeah, but I think that's it.
Yeah.
Overall, a good movie
Yes.
and a definite must watch. Do watch it in the theaters and in IMAX, as we rightly mentioned. We
Yeah.
are only telling we
Right.
mentioned and we rightly
We rightly
mentioned
mentioned.
also. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next.